3, 2, 1, press play! It's the 30-day live journey. Day 14. Oh my gosh. 2 weeks, what? Cray. I got stuff in my teeth. Hey, welcome. Day 14 and tuning in with you on this Facebook Live, doing it every day. Love to hear what you would like to see besides just tuning in. I am today, though, going to talk about this inside-out approach to speaking and why it's important and all the difference it's made, especially because I have this profound 2 days that, of course, I invite you to come and be a part of. Only 27 people. It's very small, focused, and intimate, and profound. Utterly transform your speaking in 2 days and yourself because of this inside-out approach. So I'm going to share some of that, but I want to also just tune in with you and catch up and whatever questions and answers and be able to connect. So I don't know you're here unless you comment. By the way, we're over there. That's Cody. Good old Cody. Hi, Cody. There, see him? Having fun on the heart. Go ahead and comment so I know you're here. It's so funny. Facebook, I swear, sometimes it's just out there and people are actually seeing your post, and other times, so I don't know what's going on, and I don't know if it has something to do with, I tried to post this several times and finally Facebook went, you know, but you may be watching the replay. Who knows? But definitely wanting to tune in. Who is that there? Who's here, by the way? Because I can't tell unless you say something. But it is day 14. Oops, excuse me. By the way, if you want to follow these Facebook Live, oh, is that Sammy? Oh my gosh, I'm not sure if that's Sammy, but if it is, mwah. And even if it isn't, mwah. One thing that you can do if you want to follow Travis Greenlee, yay! If you want to, hey baby, you're too kind. If you want to be able to follow, and Travis, you might be able to know how to say this better than I do. I just know there's a way you can click on those little dots in the upper right of where you're watching this Facebook Live right now, and then it can say, be notified when Lynn goes live or something like that. So be notified when I do live. So if you want to do that, I'd love that, because obviously I'm doing this every day. You can hop on quicker, not just wait by chance, if you want, if you care. But that would be lovely. By the way, Travis, aren't you in Mexico? I thought I saw something from you about in Mexico. Robert Stack! Roberto. Oh, top right. Okay, top right. There's a way you can click on that and you can be notified when going live. Robert Stack. He is a dear friend through National Speakers Association and also has been a client, and we are going to be filming him soon. We've been working on his whole new brand and his whole new way he's going to be coming out there to the planet. And he's the celebrity handler, by the way. He's amazing. His background in working with Bob Hope and all these other stars and people behind the scenes that he's helping launch and get media. You're sitting at the beach in Cabo. That's it, not Cancun. That's what Travis just wrote. Smoking a stogie. That's great. Yeah, I really appreciate you guys being here. And Robert, by the way, has been to the Wow Factor workshop, and he knows about the power of this inside-out approach. So I wanted to share why the inside-out approach is so effective, why it makes such a difference, and why it's important, and whatever ways to support you if you have any questions or things like that. And as you know, by the way, on my Facebook Live journeys, there's no agenda, although I did this whole challenge with myself, if you will, without an agenda, but just knowing that as I go along the way, it'll show up as to what should this one be about? What should that one be about? Or go on without having an idea what it's going to be about, but knowing that every now and then I might do one where I'm going to be singing, or where I've got specific inspirational things I want to share, or like tonight to share about some speaking points. And for me, I'm a crusader. Hello, Ruben. I should wave hi to you, by the way. Wave. I am a crusader in this speaking industry, at least, or for anybody, whether you're a business professional, you are a social media influencer, whatever ways that you put yourself out there as an expert, commentary. Oh, thank you so much, Randy. It's the earlier time and I got lights and I actually have makeup on. Last night, no, but thank you so much. But whichever way that you play out there in the world, I notice that especially though as speakers, this happens. Someone thinks, I'm going to be on stage, I'm going to be an expert, or I'm a business professional. And so it's almost like this wall goes up of saying, I've got to show that because I'm an authority, you'll take me seriously. Carmel, hey! Mwah, mwah, mwah. Oh, how exciting for me to see you here. Yay! Carmel's in my WOW Mastermind. She's brilliant. She does podcasts and is so inspirational. And it's all about living your life from the Italian style of living, the Bella Vita living now. Ah, thank you, Travis. So, yeah, and by the way, anyone who's on here who may not know, you can go in the upper right and you click that little button and it says to be notified when I go live. And since I'm doing this every day, if you like, then we can, you know, be able to come together every day, all the easier, every day or every night, depending. So back to what I was saying is that there's many different ways it shows up in speaking and the way our walls come up. And there tends to be a paradigm in the business world. Aw, I love you, Carmel. Patricia Townsend, oh my gosh, that is so divine and wild. Because Miss Patricia, I literally was going to send you a message today. That is so wild. I had you sitting right there to send a message. I think I got interrupted by a phone call or something. So good to see you. Patricia's a fantastic speaker out there in the world, a lovely human being, and I'm so excited to connect with you, girl. Hello, Judy Jewel. Fantastic. So what I see is, though, we think we're going to be doing business, or we're going to be going on stage, or we're going to be doing videos and sharing our knowledge or expertise. And so we feel, not we, but, you know, in society or collective, feels that we have to put on this air in a way, or this extra barrier of watch me be an expert. So I'm going to speak with extra authority. Or I'm going to speak real straightforward and serious. Now you know that I'm serious. Now you know I mean business. Or just as a speaker, I used to do this as a TV host. I used to put on the extra, and I still have to deal with it sometimes and shed the layers. Sometimes it shows up. But, you know, hi and welcome to E-Channel. You're da-da-da-da. Oh, Patricia, by the way, I mean it. Patricia just said you're so kind. No, I'm just reflecting the truth about you, girl. But when I used to be a TV host, and I would, you know, say, on the E-Channel, we're going to da-da-da-da, and I was just very, very manufacturing how it came across on the outside, basically. And I see that happening so often, especially, like, let's say, in my beloved speakers in National Speakers Association, too. There tends to be a permeating of that, especially in Toastmasters. Toastmasters is an amazing organization, so I'm not putting down the organizations. I'm just saying if you're not careful, there can be a culture that gets gets proliferated of coming across in a certain way that has underneath the surface a feeling of rigidity, a feeling of something being put across, rather than just being and just having a conversation. And when you can break those barriers, whether that's being stiff and you just don't know how to break out of the stiffness, or you've got fear and anxiety, which is a huge thing, especially for people who haven't spoken before and just carry that with them. And then that creates its own types of barriers. But break those kind of barriers or walls, I should say dissolve, because it's not an aggressive thing, and it's not a beating the drum kind of thing. There's a whole other approach on how you can dissolve those walls and those barriers so that you have the freedom to completely show up as who you are, to completely connect directly, confidently, with power. Fear and anxiety literally going away and making the most impact you're here to make. Hey, you guys. Hi, Sarah. Sarah, that fabulous singer. So good to see you the other day as well. She's an amazing singer. Sarah, if you want to put your side up, I'd love to have you share. Oh, I'm trying to, there we go, scroll. And hello, May. How are you? Fantastic artist. Ron Callahan. In flow with Lynn. Simple. Yes. But there's a distinct difference. And when I've worked with folks and coached them, and I, in minutes, am able, just through certain techniques, be able to have them break free of some of those walls, or just by, they come out of their shell or come out of this protective way that they're coming across. And it's explosive and powerful than how they connect, how their content makes impact. That's just one little aspect that we go in deep with in the wow factor. But it's important, and I share that with you because so many people go after speaking thinking, I've got to get all these little techniques, and what they're doing is pasting on more and more walls, getting more and more in their head, instead of the other way around. A lot of the aspects of how you might move your hand or how your voice might have modulation will happen naturally once you are honestly connected, rather than thinking you've got to manufacture it. And that goes for, let's say, even what content you're going to say. Many people feel like you have to have every single word memorized. There is nothing wrong with that. By the way, some of the most brilliant speakers have every single word memorized, and it's stunning. But there can be magic when you can trust yourself enough that you know the content, and you will speak directly into that moment. And it's going to come through you even far more powerfully than if you had planned every little single word in advance. And I've seen people that swear when they're in the Wow Factor workshop, they're the kind that say, no, I cannot go on unless they've over-prepared and got every little word, and they feel almost naked, if you will. Being in front of the audience. Is speaking with hands okay if authentic? Of course. Absolutely. And by the way, there is no one right or wrong way. Hey, Paul, nice to see you. No one right or wrong way. There's many different opinions about it, and I'm sharing with you my opinion, but what I've also noticed. And I've noticed those that even came from the mindset that you have to control everything, and they are in a way almost like somewhat of a robot kind of speaker, if you will. Once they experience coming at it from this whole other place, what I call the W.O.W Inside-Out Approach to speaking, it's freedom. And there's a whole new power they've accessed, and the impact they make. And as a result, it impacts your sales. It impacts the response for people if you're speaking from the stage. It impacts their meetings with clients. It impacts your confidence. It impacts your self-worth. It's like this little switch that when it's clicked into, it impacts all these other areas in your life and how you come across. It even impacts your motivation to put yourself out there, your willingness to be seen, your willingness to go for it, to knock down doors. I have to share a story, but I had someone who went through the Wow Factor workshop, and he was a graphic designer, and he'd never spoken before, and he really wanted to, he just felt this calling to be out there as a coach and a speaker. And he didn't really quite know what he was doing. And, in these 2 days, the difference was night and day from the beginning to the end. And when he first was in front of the group speaking, he was kind of reminding himself of me when I was in a shutdown period. And I don't know if you've ever experienced that, but it's not fun. But he was in front of the, if you want to call it audience or the group, and he was kind of like this, and looking, eyes darting around and looking down and stiff and saying, okay, like talking like that. We've all seen that, right? Hey, Ron Phillips. And but then we went through all the processes. We have very experiential, interactive processes. We have time in front of the group. We even work on, if you want, prepared material, depending what level you come in. And by the end of the 2 days, as he's now standing in front of the group, and there's even processes and exercises we have for being able to access speaking off the top of your head, experiencing real connection, experiencing all of you coming out to play, all of that. And so when he was in front of the group, next thing you know, he was this whole other person. We were blown away. He was on fire. He was passionate and connecting with the crowd and enthusiastic. And we were saying, okay, that man is off and running. And out of those 2 days, he then went out there and within 4 months had created a speaking career and booked speaking gigs. He was just picking up the phone. And then then created a successful coaching business. And within 2 years, he was featured on Donnie Deutsch. What was that called? The Big Idea. So he completely had a whole other trajectory of where he went out of those 2 days. When you are able to click in to the power of who you can be and give yourself that freedom and permission to let it come out and play and connect in that way and have a safe space, a sandbox, I call it, to explore and have, and also the way I coach, and I can make transformation happen in minutes with people, which I love. And at some point, if you like, we should do a Facebook Live where I can bring people on and coach right here with them on video with you. I'd love to do that if you think that would be of value. We'll have to make that happen because it's so fun to see. And so out of that, that's where that switch then impacts every area. So I had a chiropractor, and he just wanted to get better at speaking. Thought that would help when he would be out speaking on his business. And he wrote me this testimonial later saying, a month later, I hadn't even heard from him. He loved it, left. And a month later, he wrote a testimonial saying, okay, I knew it was going to get my speaking better. In fact, next time I spoke, I had amazing response. People rushed to the back of the room. People were coming up with me saying, wow, what did you do? That's fantastic. He said, but I did not expect that when I would meet with clients, my closing rates skyrocketed. And that was an unsolicited testimonial he just sent me, because it impacts the way that you connect, the way that you show up. Yes. And, if you're interested, you can go to thepowertowow.com and see all the information there. And I'm very motivated. It's only going to be 27 people. I keep it a very small group so that everyone gets, personal time. It's very interactive, incredible bond. Oh, thank you, Ron. I so appreciate it. And 20 folks are what I call Wow Maker VIPs, and 7 are what I call Wow Maker Mastery VIPs. And they get even more time in front of the group. Everyone gets some one-on-one time, but the Mastery VIPs get to take one of these processes even deeper in front of the group, which has you click into that feeling of allowing the connection to lead, and you get to enjoy the ride, if you will. And getting to work with some of their material and get some really deep coaching. And I was going somewhere with that. Oh, on that site, so you can choose which one of those you want to do if that speaks to you. But I'm motivated that in the next 2 weeks, preferably actually the next week, that I'm getting at least 10 registered. And that's why I have those fast action bonuses there, where, they're crazy bonuses, over $2,000 worth of bonuses for the first 10. And one includes a one-on-one session with me, an hour-long session diving inside your business or your needs, whether that's charting out your keynote or your deliverability or working on launching as an expert or your messaging, all of that. And I'm brilliant at helping people with that. And the other bonus is the 90-day online live mastermind. Again, small group online live for 12 weeks, keeping you accountable, giving you an ongoing sandbox to implement what you got out of that weekend in this context of whatever it is that how you're putting yourself out there and launching. So it's an incredible support system in all levels coming in just for being that first 10, getting these 2 days that will make that switch for you, but then also getting the one-on-one support, and then getting that whole 90-day online mastermind of accountability, of a vortex of support, of getting to implement all that we share in there. Valerie Sargent. Hey, Valerie girl. I had your picture up just recently on Facebook. I actually was going to, Patricia's on here, I think, as well, so say hi to Patricia. And then I saw your picture, and I was like, oh, I got to reach out to Valerie. And it was great seeing you the other day, whenever that other day was. I'm losing track of time, y'all. I swear I'm losing track of time. But Valerie is in the 90-Day WOW Mastermind. And Valerie, I think you know, right, that I'm relaunching the WOW 2-day live workshop. So we're going deep dive into the WOW Inside-Out Approach to speaking, and it's awesome. So check that out if you want to. thepowertowow.com. The site had a glitch today, so there's some things that aren't quite right. It's missing some content and some other things that aren't quite all together there, but you'll see the video of me talking through what it is. You'll see the basic information you need to know and the way to register in case you want to take advantage of those bonuses. Because I'm only really just now today getting proactive about reaching out to certain people and certain groups, and I have barely begun. But there's many groups that I know that have either experienced my work in some way or, have been asking, please, when are you bringing back the Wow Factor Workshop? So I'm bringing it back. So anyway, would love to have you there. All right, so I just had to share about that. But again, back to why that makes a difference is because how you feel when you no longer have tension and anxiety about speaking, if that's something that's there for you, or feeling burdensome or worried about, is this going to go right, or getting in your head. Oh gosh, getting in your head. Oh, and then, I forgot to say that, I forgot to say this, and then you beat yourself up. And it makes you doing your craft feel burdensome. And then there's a subconscious barrier for you going for it all the way or putting yourself out there, because the more you put yourself out there, the more you have to deal with that. So that's another thing that gets lifted and healed within the 2-day workshop, within the process that we do. And I've had people find their worth once and for all. Allison Spellman, she's on Fox now, and she also was on HSN, I think, or something like that. And she's an incredible media personality, but also inspirational woman. She's done a lot of women entrepreneur events and nonprofits that she supports. And she had come, and she did not have her groundingness. She did not have her way of connecting. And through this process, she clicked in, and you could see it right before your eyes. Like she found her, I know this sounds wild, but she found her self-worth in that moment and ongoingly because that's the other thing about this work is it's like riding a bike. Once you find balance, you have balance. And I say this in my video on the power to wow, but it's true. So once you click into it, it's there with you. Even if you don't think about it or try something on to where you'd need it, it's there for you. And so she still writes to me to this day, and it's been years since she went through that, but thanking me for that work, how it utterly changed her life and what's opened up for her since. And she now has an amazing family, an amazing career, and it's so beautiful to see. That's why I'm so passionate about this work. And that's why I'm so passionate. So please spread the word. Tell those you know. Share this video even. Would really appreciate it. I mean, to me, it's so important. No one ever needs to be held back about going for what it is that's calling to them in the heart, about sharing their message, about standing in their power and standing powerfully in what they're here to share. And this work, it just acts like a switch for folks. I swear, I feel like I'm just, because I'm so excited to be able to talk about this again. There's this gentleman, Richard, and Arson, God bless Arson. He introduced me to Richard. And in fact, he put on a Wow Factor for Fresno. And so Richard was one of the participants. And he is a boss. He owns some company. And he also, as a side hobby, preaches. Stephen Lloyd, hey, Stephen Lloyd. It's so good to see you. I saw a picture of your wife's hand, I believe it was. I think that was your Facebook post. I would love to talk with you, Stephen. I'm just saying that. Stephen, by the way, is such a great heart, and he's massively successful in real estate and investing. Brilliant man, and true caring heart. And Stephen, I'd love to connect with you. There's a couple things I'd love to share with you, and just connect some more. Because he and I do City Gala, City Summit. He's a big supporter of City Gala, City Summit, in fact. And so it's always fun seeing each other at that. So I was just wrapping up, sharing about WOW and this inside-out approach to speaking and why that makes a difference. Now, when I did this on Wall Street for venture capitalists and lawyers, that whole end of business type of folks that we did a Wow Factor. In fact, Robert Stack, if he's still on here, he was at that one as well. And at the end, they came up to me and begged me to please bring this to our industry. We need it so much, especially the venture capitalists, because they would see person after person coming to pitch their idea or their project. And they'd be all stuck in their head, or have all these barriers of nerves, or manufacturing how they come across, and they just couldn't feel them and authentically connect with them. And one of the things they said is if they could just bring this to that industry so that people would know how to authentically and powerfully and passionately pitch their business and truly connect with whoever you're talking with. Oh, hello, Bob Doyle. Bob Doyle, you came into my life and changed it. Hey, Alex Irizarry, did I say that right? Alex, how are you? He has a great group called Identified Thinkers. There's a lot of, not necessarily schools of thought that I agree with in there, but definitely a brilliant group. Hello, Alex. And Bob was in the movie The Secret, and as most of you know, my I don't know, you never know what to call it, but we were partners for 5.5 years. Thank you, Alex. So Bob and I were partners for 5.5 years and best of friends, and still are. And then parted ways, and he's now in Vegas and I'm here. And it's just, man, you know, we are soulmates. Such love, such love. And it's just so great that we can keep that love even if it's shifted in how it shows up. Oh, and Alex goes, maybe too many schools of thought. Right. Yeah, a lot of schools of thought. It's interesting. So, so that's, you know, a bit about WOW there. But I'm very passionate about sharing that so that people can be out there to share what's important to them, so that they're not held back on what they're here to do. Because think about that author or speaker or coach or media person, whatever that is, that really inspired you and made a difference for you. For me, it's Wayne Dyer. I mean, there's many. Let's say Wayne Dyer is one, right? For me. But who might that be for you? You know, maybe for you it's Mother Teresa or Nelson Mandela or whoever that might be. And think about the difference that made for you, what you learned from them, how they inspired you, whatever actions they took, however they showed up in the world, what their writings were, if they wrote, and how that inspired you. And feel how that feels. And now, as you just tuned into that, now think about what if, when it came time for them to show up and step up and spread their message or dare to put themselves out there or do what it takes to rise in the ranks and do their great work in the world, they decided, it's too scary, or I don't know how it's going to come across, or they played small, or they gave up before they put themselves out there, or as they came up against too many obstacles, they pulled back. And can you just feel the emptiness of if that did not exist? Or how would the world be different if they hadn't, right? And there's many different ways we get inspired, whether it's someone's actions and paths they took, like Martin Luther King, or someone's beautiful writings, like Rumi, or that just so touch your heart. I mean, or music that just so ignites your soul. There's many different ways that we get impacted, but it takes something to put ourselves out there to the planet, to the world, as an entrepreneur, or as someone who has a bold message they want to share, or in your business, or even just meeting with clients, picking up the phone and doing a cold sales call. That takes something. And if you have those barriers or those walls in the way, it's not allowing you to be able to show up all the way. And that's why it's so important, and that's why I'm so passionate about being able to support people to do the great work they're here to do. And Alex says it takes character. It sure does. And Jill says, that's right, you were thinking about Vegas. Remember when you're trying to decide. And Jill, that's true. But I only spent one day trying to decide. I had the idea, actually, for Bob, because we were parting ways. And I just thought, oh, Bob should go to Vegas. And then as I thought about it for him, I said, well, maybe I should go to Vegas. And I know so many people in Vegas, and being an entertainer and an entrepreneur and a media personality, Vegas has that in spades. They do here in Los Angeles, but it's very fractured and spread out. And so I I really explored that, and then I realized, you know what? No, I need to be grounded in this transition with Bob and be here for a while. I can always go to Vegas later and let Bob go to Vegas and have his experience there, which he is, and he's loving it. So, Randy says, loved Wayne Dyer, loved his mind, heart, and message. Oh my gosh, Randy, so do I. So do I, and he made such an impact on me. And, you know, when I was younger, I had a period where I got completely shut down. I got numbed out. I closed down to the point of even at one point where I had to leave the entertainment industry for 2 years. I kind of touched on it last night, although I was so tired I could barely speak last night. But I realized right as I was going to bed that I hadn't done a Facebook Live, and that's my commitment. So I had to just turn on the camera and go. But I did touch on that. But that, you know, it took me 2 years in finding my way through it and really cocooned and really worked on myself. And then from a different place where I was willing to be seen, where I was willing to connect fully from who I am to, you know, to whatever that song or that message or the camera or the person. And it's a constant unlayering process. And it'll probably be for the rest of my life that I go, yeah, there's another layer, there's another layer, there's another layer. But once I came on the other side of that, a whole trajectory of touring around the world and TV and film and eventually my own nationally syndicated radio show on personal achievement, and then getting to work with the greats that I looked up to. And then it brought me into this whole space that I love. And that's why I'm committed to this work. And WOW, if those who are here that haven't heard me share this before, but WOW, which is my brand, is an acronym for without walls. Without walls. And what can happen when we dissolve those walls or those barriers, what's possible? You're unstoppable. You've got confidence, you've got power, you've got freedom, you're on fire. It's flow, it's grace. So that's kind of the background there. Let me see some of the things that were being said here. Oh, and I know what I was going to say about Wayne Dyer. So I so looked up to Wayne Dyer as well, besides, not just looked up to him, I should say he made massive impact in my life. So he was very special in my heart and in the inspiration and impact he made. And I had the amazing opportunity because of a friend and I had lots of friends that were friends with him, but I met him one time at an event, but it's not quite the same. But I was at a friend's place, and Wayne was in Vegas to speak there and also do some healing because I think he was moving through leukemia at the time. And he came to my friend's place for an afternoon, and I was at my friend's place. So we got to hang out at my friend's place with Wayne Dyer for an entire afternoon, just talking about life, just getting to connect with no agenda, no looking up to, but just as fellow human beings. And it was really beautiful. And I was just, I don't think I said much because I was just absorbing the moment and in shock, and excited. So that was really a very special time. I'm very grateful for it because he really meant so much to me. It still does, even though he's on the other side. You guys loved Wayne too? Awesome. That's what it said. If you're watching the replay by the time you see it, folks were saying how much they love Wayne. Randy and Jill were chiming in. Talk about WOW. Talk about WOW. Do you have any questions about it? I'm happy to talk about it. I love WOW. And so many people through the decades. So I've been doing it since 2005. And like I said, I've had billion-dollar CEOs go through it. Celebrities, famous thought leaders. I'll say another little story. Catherine Oxenberg. She is an actress on Dynasty. She had a reality show some years ago as well. And she, believe it or not, for 20 years, she had carried with her, it was a huge burden to do her passion of acting, because every time she had to get in front of the camera or perform or do her scenes, she had such nerves that she had to move through. So it was just debilitating fear and nerves and stage fright. And she would never accept any speaking invitations, and she led a lot of different nonprofits, was a humanitarian, and she wanted to heal that. And so for 20 years she tried going to gurus and NLP, which is neuro-linguistic programming, and you name it. She was trying all these different programs and modalities, and nothing worked. until wow. And through our inside-out approach and the way that it's led over the 2 days together as a group, and at times one-on-one in front of the group, sometimes in processes, sometimes within speaking, she exploded out of her shell and the nerves were gone. And she found a whole new way of how to connect in that power. Oh, I mean, time with Wayne Dyer. Okay, I will do that, Randy. Thank you. I keep misinterpreting what you're saying. But I'll finish my story about Catherine, just because it's really a cool story. And she got so excited, she was jumping up and down. And in fact, she got so excited, she put on a wow at her house, her own little private wow, which is where I worked with Marcy Shimoff, who's also from The Secret and a famous thought leader. But Catherine then went on to get her own TV show, and she got asked to be speaking for some humanitarian type of events that she gladly said yes to. And ever since, I mean, it's changed the trajectory. So that's what's possible when you can click into that. So that was another story. But Randy said, talk about wow. He wasn't saying for me to talk more about wow and the wow factor. He was saying, whoa, talk about wow. That's what he meant. Talk about misinterpreting what someone wrote. Anyway, yes, I spent time with Wayne Dyer and I was very grateful. That's what he was referring to. And it was phenomenal. Who have you guys met that it really was someone who you looked up to, or someone that was meaningful to you, or maybe it was just someone that is famous, wasn't necessarily an inspiration to you, but made a difference for you to meet, or just an interesting story. It's always interesting when because of the industry that I'm in, I meet celebrities all the time, hung out with them many at a time, and you start realizing everybody's just human. Everybody is just as they say, you can see them in their underwear. You can see them, we all have to go to the bathroom. We all have our issues. We're human. But I'm just curious if you have an experience you want to just write in the comment there, or if you're watching the replay, you want to write it. I do have a funny story about a celebrity story. Back in the day, I was on Match.com. Match.com, I think it still exists, and that's a dating site. And so I was set up with this guy who looks a lot like, his name's Sylvester Stallone. And so I'm in Beverly Hills to meet him at this restaurant in Beverly Hills. And I park my car, and I see him waiting across the street. So I cross the street, and I'm walking right up to him. I'm going, hey, this guy I'm supposed to meet for the first time on Match.com. And I go up to him, and it's actually Sylvester Stallone. And I go, I meant someone else. And I then just I was like so flustered, and I just kind of turned and then just walked real straight to then go to the restaurant. And then finally, sat down. There was the actual guy I was supposed to meet in the restaurant, not standing on the street, but actually in the restaurant, sat down by him. And by the way, at that time, Sylvester Stallone, when I ran into him and flustered and went away, was like, he tried to follow me, and I just ignored him because I was freaked out. And then he came into the restaurant following me and then went, like this, like, what are you doing? Why are you not responding to me? Whatever. And walked out. And then just a little bit time later, he then came back in the restaurant with an entourage and then walked past me and looked down and then just kept on walking. It's just the wildest thing. The wildest thing. Randy says, where I live, there isn't a plethora of famous or semi-famous personalities. Right. Yeah. And you know what? But you realize it doesn't matter. It really doesn't. And the more that we can just vanquish thinking there is someone to put on a pedestal, or that we're on a pedestal and someone's below us. No, it's even playing ground, whether you're a janitor or you're a CEO. I'm sorry. And yes, there is something that it takes to be able to create. Oh, Cheryl, mwah, you inspire me, my friend. So happy to see you here. Cheryl Hunter. Follow Cheryl for sure. She is a stunning presence in our world as a thought leader, and wonderful things to say. Elaine Gibbs, amazing singer. Elaine Gibbs. I gotta tell my Elaine Gibbs story. And Cheryl Hunter's story. I've got all sorts of stories to talk about you guys now. Hi, Kathy Epley. Awesome. Kathy, by the way, my Wow Factor workshop is, well, you probably saw it in the title, but it's coming out, girl. Go to thepowertowow.com. Ta-da. Thepowertowow.com. Hey, Scott Carr, good to see you. So I'm going to start with Cheryl first, and then hopefully, Elaine, if you're still on, I've got to tell my Elaine story. Love you, girl. So Cheryl used to lead Landmark Forum years, many eons ago. Oh, thank you. Well, it helps with the lights. You know, lights help. I gotta say, good lighting, right? And Cheryl actually comes from the entertainment industry as well, in media. She's stunningly beautiful, holds amazing presence. And when you hear her story, you'll be blown away at what she's gone through. And she has a TEDx talk out there about it. And in fact, Cheryl, if you can type in your site where people can go to look you up, and I don't know the TEDx talk name, but if you also maybe put that in there, because it's really extraordinary, it'll blow you away. And Cheryl, I was so taken by Cheryl as a Landmark leader, not because she was a Landmark leader, but just how authentic she was, the space she held, how she connected, how brilliant she was in her coaching with people. And she and I had moments when I might be sharing and we were coaching, or I was just sharing, and you can really viscerally feel the connection. And we've just stayed in touch since, and appreciating each other's work. And Cheryl has just taken off as her own tour de force out there in the world with best-selling book and on media all the time. So, mwah, Cheryl. And you may not be on anymore. Well, you can also Google Cheryl. Just make sure you find the right Cheryl Hunter. Apparently there's another Cheryl Hunter out there who's trying to, in some ways, really steal or take from her own identity, which is interesting. She did a beautiful Facebook Live the other day about that. You know, touching Facebook Live. So Elaine, my Elaine Gibbs story, y'all. And Elaine Gibbs was on, was it America's Got Talent? No, it was The Voice. No, it was one of those. America's Got Talent, maybe. I get some of these shows mixed up, so forgive me. There's America's Got Talent. There's another one like it. Can't remember which one. It's one that was more involved. Oh, CherylHunter.com. Great. Thank you for typing that. The talk is called Wabi Sabi. I wonder if it was Wabi Sabi. The Magnificence of Imperfection. Fabulous. Yes. Check out Cheryl. So my Elaine Gibbs story. I used to live, and I still live in the marina on the water. Oh, it was X Factor. That's it. I get X Factor and America's Got Talent mixed up. So X Factor, which is a lot better than America Got Talent. But so I was, but before, this is before X Factor. I used to live on the end of the Marina Del Rey Channel in the most magnificent teeny one bedroom, but it looked over the entire channel and ocean. It was stunning. I loved it. It was an old building falling apart. I was there 11 years. Eventually they kicked everyone out so they could renovate it. And now they're charging like 3 times as much as I was paying at the time. But nonetheless, I was there, and in walking distance, if you know Marina Del Rey, in walking distance is Fisherman's Village. It has a little mini lighthouse and this wonderful place this restaurant to get food that would do events. And so I am in my apartment, and I hear this voice coming from some event that's happening at one of those restaurants, just filling the sky and blowing me away. I'm going, that is better than Patti LaBelle or Aretha Franklin or any singer I've heard. I have to go find out who that is. So I left my apartment and walked over to that restaurant, which was a private event, and just walked in and asked, can I just look and see this singer? Who is this guy? And they said, oh, come. And they were so nice. They're like, oh, come on in. Let's come on in. It's great. Yeah, that's Elaine Gibbs. She's amazing. And I was just sitting there listening to her going, wow, wow. And then sure enough, we know a lot of the same people, from Melanie Taylor and Wendy Brene Smith, who are fellow singers. And I'm a singer, but I can't even begin to touch Miss Elaine Gibbs. She is the bomb. Anyway, it was so exciting when I got to see her on the X Factor, because she is brilliant. So check out Elaine Gibbs. Yay, Elaine. That's my Elaine gift story. It was so magical that day. You may not remember it, but I sure do. Yep. So I love being able to connect with you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. And I love being able to also connect you all to each other to discover each other's brilliance, because there's an amazing community that we have here. A community of people from all sorts of different walks of life. Hi, Michael Riley. How are you? Welcome. And if you don't know, because you may not have been following, but I am doing, thank you, Elaine. So I am doing a Facebook Live challenge to myself. And now it's become like a journey. I initially called it challenge, and it's really been an amazing journey. And I'm on now day 14. And I probably will go beyond the 30 days. And there's no agenda. It's just to be able to connect and press that play button, even when I don't feel like pressing the play button. Speaking of which, if you go to the upper right, and there's a little button there, and you can click on, turn on, be notified when I go live. Be notified when Lynn Rose goes live. That'd be great, because in that way, when I go live, you can be notified, and your choice to come on and join or not. Just joined from Seattle, building bikes for kids. Oh, Michael Riley, that's fantastic. These are great. That's so awesome. So, Elaine, where am I singing? Well, I am doing corporate events, and I, as an MC and keynoter, I integrate music as well. And I have a new suite of music coming out that I'm very excited about. 7 songs. One I just performed Sunday at the Alex Theater for an event called Truth Telling for Truth Seekers. And I really am very excited about it. So I'll make sure to stay tuned in with you and everybody once that gets released. I have not been saying much about it because I'm waiting till it gets finished. Mwah! Love you, Cheryl. Thank you for stopping by. Oh, I appreciate it. And Irene says, hi, Elaine. So cool. You are one talented, gorgeous grandma. I can't even think of her as a grandma because she's just timeless. She's amazing. Hey, Sharon Moist. Nice to see you. You did the button, Randy. Awesome. Thank you. The notifications button. That means I know I'm going to see you. Thank you. Appreciate that. Well, I should get busy over here. Although I'm certainly enjoying this with you. Man, I swear. Hey, Kathy. And Kathy, girl, I'm so impressed by you. I remember when I ran into you at Joel Bauer's event long ago. And you have released so much weight and kept it off, and in this whole new Bazam you've been putting out there, and you've always been Bazam, but it's just elevated to yet another level. You know, I think that happens when we step all the more into our power, our worth, and clearly you're doing that. Way to go with your Facebook Live challenge. Yep, keeping commitment. Ugh. It's great, and sometimes it's a pain, but I just say that jokingly. You know, but I remember last night when I realized, as I was literally just so ready to crawl into bed and hadn't done it yet, I was like, oh, I didn't do it. I got to do it. And so we do what we got to do. But that's what we learn as entrepreneurs too, right? We got to show up even when we don't feel like it sometimes. But that commitment and honoring it, that ends up moving us forward. I can't believe Elaine's a grandma. I was shocked when she said that in one of her spots on X Factor. Oh, cool. Thanks, Lynn. You're very sweet. No, I'm just saying what's true about you, Kathy. Yeah, I remember way back when. Oh, it was fun. So it's great to be reconnected. I appreciate that. Oh, you guys, this is great. I should come on later. This is a good time, 8 o'clock. I appreciate you coming on. I appreciate reconnecting. And just in wrapping it full circle, if you want to watch the replay if you came on late, but I was talking about why this inside-out approach to speaking is so important and how that impacts all the various areas of, you know, your business, sales, your self-worth, your confidence, and the impact you can make, and even your motivation for going for it. It's amazing to watch in all the people I've been able to work with this work since 2005, and I'm so excited that I'm bringing it back. So if you want to work together, you and I one-on-one, but you actually would be one-on-one if you're one of the first 10, because I am giving that as one of the bonuses for the first 10. But if you're interested, please do go to thepowertowow.com. The site had a bit of a glitch today and is just getting finished, but there is the video there and other information and a way to register. And you can see you're getting over literally $2,000 worth of actual value on top of just the value and incredible transformation of those 2 days. So you transform your speaking in 2 days, utterly transform. Whether you're already an expert out there killing it, now you go to the next level, like Marcy Shimoff, who participated and took it, Barnett Bain, who was the producer of What Dreams May Come, speaks often on his films. Ariel Ford's done some of the coaching. She's not done the WOW yet, but she's done the actual one-on-one coaching. But anyway, if you're just someone starting out and you get to click into a quantum leap through this process. So definitely check that out, thepowertowow.com. And this is fun, perfect time. I'm excited you are bringing it back too. Yay! And I'm going to forward this to my friend Matt. Oh, thank you so much, Irene. I really appreciate that. And anyone, please, I am passionate about this work because it's so powerful. And it's not something that puts you in your head or it's content or information based. It's experience based. So that it's like riding that bike and finding balance, and you now have it in your system. It's an automatic way of being now. I have had someone who left the wow factor and then didn't speak for about 4 years. And then she had to go speak. Well, she did a little bit afterwards. And then it was like a 4-year break. And then she went to go speak and she said it was all there. It was all right there. It's just like when you get back on a bike and the balance is there. I had the same thing with, what's his name? Vito Montone, an entrepreneur, media entrepreneur. And he hadn't really spoken before. And he found the wow factor, which is what happens in those 2 days. And then went to Singapore 4 months later to speak. And he said, you are right. It's all right there because it's in your cells. So I'd love for you to experience that. You go to thepowertowow.com, thepowertowow.com. Did you ever work with Christy Marie Sheldon? No. I think she put something out called Wow Factor, but she did that after I had come out with the Wow Factor in 2005. Hi, Lina. How do you not age? Well, girl, you're so lovely. But I've got good lighting. That really helps. And it's only been since November since I've seen you. So hopefully not too much aging has happened in that period of time. How are you? Lina is such a beautiful, authentic, caring woman. And the path she's taken with her son that she shares will just blow you away. And I hope you do a TED Talk about it. I hope you've got a book coming out about it, Lina, because it was just so powerful. Irene, I need to learn more about you, my friend, and anyone else up here. Let's see, who else do we got up here? Is Kathy still on here? I don't know. I feel like, as I just keep talking, because you don't know who's about to pop on right as I'm popping off. There's been several times I'm making the transition to go, and then here comes someone I want to connect with or acknowledge or answer. So maybe now's the time before someone else comes on. So I want to thank you again. If you want to click the upper right button, there's a button that will notify you when I go live. Please do, so we can share this 30-day journey, which will probably continue onward beyond the 30 days. As I'm finding it's definitely many aspects of growth in showing up every day and doing this and keeping front of mind and connecting in this way and exploring thoughts and just keeping the commitment and being able to reconnect with people I haven't seen in a long time or line like I haven't seen since November and that I have incredible memories with because we together did the Awakening Giants transformational TV documentary series that showcases change makers from around the world. They bring together 20 different change makers from around the world in different exotic locations. And each location has different change makers. Although I'm a series regular, I help them with their speaking and I do a talk myself every time and am part of the whole experience. But they take them through these transformational experiences and adventures and mastermind and collaborate, and then a day seeing them in action on stage, sharing their brilliance, and then also the give back piece, humanitarian piece. And in Ecuador, we went to the Amazon jungle and brought clean water systems for 18 villages. It was amazing. And they filmed the whole thing, and that'll be coming out next year, 2019, I believe. And that's where I know Lynn from. Kathy, yes, and agree with the question. How do you not age? Oh, you're so sweet. I will tell you something I've been doing for a long time, and I actually was a spokesperson for this company, and that might have been, I mean, I'm very glad, and that might have been why I just kept doing it. But then I noticed that it really made a difference, so it might be that this had something to do with it. But Soma Life, and there's now a different version of that I'm taking, but it's amino acids. But it has to be manufactured in a certain way so it really actually enters your pituitary gland. Soma Life was that. I don't know if it still is. I have a friend's product now that he is brilliant, and he gave me some that is just stunning. So I think amino acids help, and there's many, many things one can explore, right? Hello, Shinyin. How are you? Oh, Kathy, how did you get younger looking? How about that? Right back at you, girl. Man, you just stepped into Bazam land. So, very impressed. Shinyan, wow, you look lovely. I just want to do a little wave. Ta-da. Hello, hello. Well, I think at some point I need to say goodbye. I'm so glad we had this time together. I'm losing my voice here. So, just as you go to bed, what do you want to acknowledge yourself for? Oh, we met through Rick Frischman several years ago when I was going through a health crisis. Never forgot your hug and words of encouragement. Oh, Irene, thank you. Thank you for sharing that. That means so much to me. Have a great evening, Miss Lynn. Thank you for your great spot tonight. Thank you, Randy. Thank you. Appreciate it. And I'm just putting this forward for myself and for you guys. Whatever you do as you go to bed, really feel into your heart and what you want, and really give yourself love. Whatever love you give to the world or others or your dog, wherever you send out love, give it to yourself. And what do you want to acknowledge yourself for from today or in life, period? Because we work so hard, we put ourselves out there, we deal with so much, we navigate through default voices, but how often do we take that time and moment to acknowledge ourselves and tune in? And our inner self is just crying out to be seen and acknowledged and loved. And we tend to be the ones that ignore it the most if we're not careful. So acknowledge yourself tonight as you go to bed. I acknowledge you. I appreciate you for showing up. Thank you so much for what you just said, Kathy. Thank you. You make me feel so good. Thank you. And sending you so much love. And I really look forward to next time we connect, which is tomorrow, which will then be not day 14, but day 15. So I look forward to connecting then. Have a beautiful evening, and thank you. Much love. Blessings.